each other. Talk to me real quick. I got a little inside information, and if it's still something that's not put out there yet, we don't have to go into detail with it. But are you going to be transitioning to a different zip code?
Yeah, I'm recently going to be relocating up to Maryland. I think Frank mentioned it yesterday when he was commentating with you.
He did.
It's a buddy of his, Jared Tarico, and he was lucky. I was lucky enough to be offered a job up in Baltimore with Jarrett. So I'm going to jump on that, and I'll be up there very soon.
Are you jumping on a pickle or both?
It is actually both. So some pickleball, some tennis.
Very cool, man. That's kind of what we're seeing the trend with tennis facilities is that they're basically embracing tennis and pickleball now because they realize tennis is not going anywhere, but they also realize is on the move, and it's a growing sport, and it's a fun sport. So I think it's a really smart business move for tennis facilities to embrace that during some of the down times of tennis. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, and especially in the Mid-Atlantic area where it hasn't really grown as much as some other areas yet. So I think there's a lot of room for growth there, and growing up in the Maryland area, I still know a lot of the people in the tennis world and community, so I may try to introduce it in a couple of those old spots that I.
That's awesome. Perfect timing. We're going to get started here. Rick serving to Noah to start this game. Wow, right out of the gate, Rick ripping that ball inside out to Noah's forehand, actually.
Yeah, he may have forgotten there that Noah was lefty, but he got away with it.
So you're going to be a good guy to have on the commentary for this singles match because you've played a bunch of singles this week on this event, and you were also, if I'm not mistaken, you were a pro tennis player at one time, right?
Yes, I recently retired from pro tennis in August of last year.
Man, that's incredible. What an accomplishment, and that's, have that in your history and in your background. And, how does that background in tennis help you in pickleball in general, but also specifically in singles pickleball?
It's a really big help, of course, if you have a tennis background. It helps not just with paddle control, but just reading the game. It's just sort of like your tennis, and I feel like tennis players have the biggest advantage of any racket or paddle sport. You see a lot of table tennis players, badminton, paddle, all sorts of racket sports pick up pickleball, but I feel like the tennis background is probably the most beneficial.
I would agree with that 100%. And we're also seeing a new wave of younger tennis players starting to kind of convert over. Maybe not full-time, but they're dabbling in it. They're kind of checking it out. The has been created, I feel like, over the last year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. So my doubles partner for U.S. Open, my buddy Deco Barr, who I knew from the tennis tour. I met on the tennis tour.
That's incredible.
He got introduced by me and, of course, my brother. So we've recently entered the pickleball world, and I feel like it's not just us. More are coming, for sure.
There's a lot more coming.
The young tennis players are sniffing out the sport, and they're going to get involved very soon.
I love it. All right, so let's talk about this early lead right now. Rick is absolutely controlling this singles match right now. Rick is 48 years old, so he's actually the oldest pro in this event. And you'd never know it, though, when he runs around on this court.
Yeah, I sure hope I can move like that when I'm 48.
No kidding.
I mean, he's out here playing singles. It's great to see.
And I don't know if you knew this or not, Rick is a two-time All-American in tennis at the University of Alabama.
I don't think I knew that. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that he was a tennis player, but I did not know that fact.
Yeah, and if you look close at his hat, he's wearing an Alabama hat, which is near and dear to me because that's where I actually live. I live in the state of Alabama and have for 20 years. It's important to note that there's a little bit of intensity in this match, and part of that is, I don't know if you were in that match last night, but Rick was playing doubles against Noah, and there's a little bit of, I don't want to say bad blood, but there's a little bit of intensity between the two of them. Do you remember that at all? Were you around?
I don't believe I was there for that. I think I must have stepped out.
It's no big deal, and it wasn't a huge thing, but basically Tyler Loon was playing with Rick Witsken on Team West, and they were playing Noah, and I believe I can't remember who Noah's partner was, but either way, Tyler basically opted to use their timeouts just above the 2-minute mark, and it really did frustrate Noah. And then Noah, you could see he was visibly frustrated and took a third shot and just drove it as hard as he could. And actually, Rick was able to get out of the way, but it basically hit that big sign back there. And I'm not saying there's anything to it. I'm just saying that you can feel some of that little bit of extra intensity here, a little edge. And that's a good thing when competition is involved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to go anywhere considering the age gap there.
Yeah, no, not at all. And please, yeah, definitely, I'm glad you said that because I don't mean that in a negative way, but I think it's good, healthy competition that when two people have a little extra incentive to try to win the game. And see, already, here we go. We've got a little controversy here. So Noah called that ball out. It clipped the net. It clipped the net cord, and it went wide, according to Noah. The one thing that Rick can control, Colin, is to appeal to the ref.
Yes, that's the best thing to do is just appeal to the ref and not engage with the player directly.
Absolutely. All right, so you see a little bit of energy right here from these players, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's nothing more than that, but I like the fact that it's intense because it's good for the viewers. They're going to give a little extra here on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
7-3.
So Noah's made a little run here. Let's see if he can keep it going and get the ball back.
Yeah, he's closed the gap to 4. I think he was down 6-1 at one point, 7-3 now. We're just under the 15-minute mark, so we're 5 minutes in, and the points have been fantastic so far. Both guys going head-to-head right at each other. I love Rick's style, by the way. He's very unique with his style of play.
Yes, I agree. He has a good forehand drive, but he hits it with more spin than most. So it is fun to watch.
And I hope everybody watching has enjoyed all these matches. I mean, we've had some fantastic matches for 3 straight days. Today has had some amazing play from start to finish. It's been unbelievable. Some of the most intense matches. You were actually a part of one recently, 2 matches ago.
Yeah, we had a pretty fiery mixed doubles. I think it was very entertaining for the crowd based on how they were engaging with us, and it was a lot of fun to be out there and be a part of that.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about that with you. As a player, that feel good when the crowd's interacting and engaged?
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes it that much more fun for the players, especially where I'm living in Naples right now. I felt like they're a little bit more behind crowd, Team East. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, and that's home court advantage, and that's simply just the location that we're at. It's going to be that way. I will say that you guys were very wow. That was. I'm going to stop talking about what I was going to talk about because that was a phenomenal passing shot right there by Noah Waddell. He was able to get on top of that ball and talk about what he did with that topspin there.
Yeah, he didn't actually hit that ball that hard, but he did curl around the outside of it. And if you noticed, it just hooked right around Rick down the line, and he was able to get it back to come into the court.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Noah's 18 years old. He actually just had a birthday last week, so he's one of the younger players on the tour here. And he's just a bright, shining star for this sport, man. It's great to see young athletes getting involved in pickleball and taking it serious.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a real talent. And like you said, he's here from Naples, so I'm sure he'll get more than his share of support from the crowd today.
No question. Have you noticed also that the crowd's a little more full on day 3 here on Championship Day? I mean, these seats are pretty much packed out on the premium seats.
Yeah, they look maxed out, and that's really good to see. And I'm sure the rest of the stands will fill up by the night session.
They absolutely will. People will start getting off of work. Of course, we're doing this on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so you'll have a certain percentage of the crowd that will start coming after about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it will be an electric atmosphere tonight once the crowds fill in here.
Yeah, and we have a great lineup tonight. Singles, doubles, mixed.
And some top performers are showing up. There's that Rick. That's that fire and excitement that I love to see from Rick. You know, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always doing some real funny, it's just his mannerisms sometimes are just so unique.
Yeah, he really wears his heart on his sleeve a lot of times. And it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. And it's so I watch you, and you come from a tennis background, and so does he, but it's you're very even keel regardless of the situation. You kind of stay steady with your emotions. Is that something that you're taught in tennis, or is that you just have that type of personality?
I'm a little bit more low-key personality-wise. Of course, it always helps to sort of stay even keel on the court. It's something that I've had to work on at times. But I feel like I play better when I'm just relaxed but focused.
That's awesome, man. I love it. whenever you're relaxed and focused, that's when you can hit your best shots and really get into your rhythm. And I've seen that from you absolutely for all 3 days. We got some great play going on here, Colin. So we got a little burst of energy from Noah. You saw a little fist bump right there.
Yep, the score is tightening up right at the 11-minute mark here.
So coming up to the halfway here at 10 minutes shortly, we've got a very tightly contested ball. That's what Noah does really well. And actually, not just Noah, all of you guys really close on that ball fast. That seems to be a really key component to singles, is being able to attack forward and cut off those angles.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get a drop down or you hit a very good drive that they pop up a little bit, it's critical that you get that next ball in the air.
Yeah, definitely.
Because everyone's so good at the kitchen line and maneuvering the ball deep or at an angle that if you don't get in when you can, then the odds are not in your favor.
They're not in your favor, absolutely. All right, so we got a lead now for the 18-year-old prodigy. Look at that shot. He was actually moving away from the ball when he contacted that thing and put it inside out past Rick's forehand.
Yeah, that was a very deceptive shot there because he kind of threw his shoulder there. Rick thought he was going cross court, and he was able to get the winner down the line.
That shows his athleticism also, to be able to do that, moving away from the ball there. Rick switching hands just like Colin. Look at it, did it again. Look at that.
That's a good effect.
Look at that little fist bump from Rick right there. All right, so we're changing sides at 10 minutes. For anybody just joining us, if you watch a typical pickleball match, there's no time limit on a pickleball match. So this is a little different format. You've got a 20-minute clock that's running from start to finish. The clock does not stop unless it's a medical timeout, right? So basically at 10 minutes, it doesn't matter what the score is. It has to do with the time. So the referee is asking them to switch sides. I believe they get 60 seconds to switch and get a quick wipe their face with the towel, take a quick swig of water. They're going to finish out the rest of the match from the opposite side of where they started. And I think that the tendencies and the trends that we've been seeing is that somebody, when they switch sides, typically will start to pull ahead here. This has kind of been the trend for the 3 days that we've been seeing. So let's see if that plays out like that, or if this game continues to be a tightly contested match here.
Yeah, and I've noticed myself when I like being on the side with the crowd rather than the wall, because mentally when you're on that wall side, you feel like there's something behind you. You don't have quite as much space, and obviously it's a little softer running into chairs than a wall. You're
the first player to come up here with me and actually bring that point up. I mean, that's actually a really good point. You're saying on the second half you like to be on the side with the crowd.
Yeah, when I've gotten the chance, I've chosen to be on the wall side first. So,
boy, look at that energy right there. See, and again, when he turns around and does that fist bump, man, the crowd feels that energy. They like that.
Yeah, but I've chosen to be on that wall side first. Mentally, I could get it out of the way. Wouldn't really have to worry about it at the end of the game when the score could be really tight. And then also you have the benefit of being able to see the clock at all times. So if time is running down, you'll be able to watch.
Man, another just spot-on point about that. I didn't even actually consider that as a part of a strategy, but that actually makes perfect sense to me. All right, so look, you got Rick with the ball serving. He's down 3 with about 8 minutes. Still so much time left in this singles match. It's not any reason to panic down 3. But as the clock starts to wind down, Colin, how does that clock start to play a factor if you're down in this match?
Yeah, because it's such a unique event with the clock, and you're used to playing to a certain score.
Oh, man. What a point. So, go back to that, though.
Yeah, you're not used to playing against the clock, so you do have the tendency to rush more than you need to because you're not really sure how long the points are. I've rushed a little bit too much at times, when really, if you just take your time and play your game, you're going to be a lot better off and score a lot more points in the long run.
Absolutely. And I did want to bring this back up since you kind of mentioned it about the home team crowd, or the home crowd behind the local guys. Whenever Noah seems to get a good energy shot, the crowd's really loud and excited. A lot of these guys, a lot of these people in the crowd don't know who Rick Witsken is, simply because he's from the Midwest and he's not traveling a ton. He's not a touring pro. He's a phenomenal player, a phenomenal athlete, and he's just an absolute monster on the court. All the pro guys know who Rick is. That may be some of the reasons. Like, they're just not sure who Rick is, and they're not sure if they, are going to get behind him yet or not. But he usually is a very good crowd pleaser. The crowds tend to love Rick. And, all right, we got a little slide there from Noah. But I did want to say that, though.
Yeah, that is definitely true. The crowd doesn't know Rick yet, but I'm sure they won't forget him after this.
He's an unforgettable guy, and once you get to know Rick, he's an awesome guy, first class, teaches tennis and pickleball out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He's been teaching tennis for about 25 years, and he's picked up pickleball coaching for probably about the last 2 or 3 years. So, he's really
First time out.
All right, that's interesting. So, at the 6-minute mark, Rick is choosing to take a timeout. Now he is losing 12-7.
Yeah, he may just want to break Noah's momentum here, but it looks more like he may want a breather.
Absolutely. I think that's actually really, really spot on with that, too. If you look on the screen, guys, I'm going to let Colin explain this. Well, if he's not as familiar with it, I can help explain it, too. But these numbers that you see in red next to Rick Witsken and Noah, are you familiar with that is? I don't want to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I believe that's the global pickleball ranking for each of them, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, man. You are A+ on that answer right there. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I had a feeling you knew what that was. So you actually have a ranking of 37, and we were talking about this a lot. The ranking doesn't always reflect how strong the player is initially, because you're a teaching pro too, right? So you haven't had a ton of tournaments that you've been touring and playing. Is that fair?
Yes. As far as I know, I've only played one singles tournament so far, and that was Atlanta of last year. And I won a few matches, but it's not like I won the tournament. So honestly, I'm a little surprised I have a ranking at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good ranking, absolutely, for just one tournament. And matter of fact, wow, what a great point again, man. The crowd is just loving this intensity. But I remember seeing you. I didn't actually meet you, but I remember seeing you play for the first time there in Atlanta. And you were on center court, actually, with your partner. I can't remember who it was. Was it Deckel?
I did play doubles with Deckel on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, guys, they're gonna be coming on the scene strong.
It was our tournament. We definitely.
Was forehand, it and came to.
It's going to make the clock much more relevant when they come back. Rick down by 5, 3 minutes Eastern time.
Them is to be losing side of that down. He played into this. Talk about why it makes sense to do it, even if it's not a crowd pleaser thing to do. You guys are playing for money. There's actually,
from a personal point of view, if you're ahead by a few and you've got 3 or 4 minutes left, it does make sense to take a timeout, regardless of what the opponent would think of that.
Absolutely. And he was on the other side of that last night. So it
goes both ways.
Right, so Noah's really, really dialed in right now here under 3. It feels like. You're on Team East with Noah, correct?
Yes, I am. That's a great shot.
When Rick says
more, and you only have so many seconds left.
Side out.
That's right. Another thing. And every to 20 minutes down to 0. So the points are
Yeah, and that's actually a trickier shot than you think, where he just rolls.
20-minute session. If you Colin, are you playing any more games?
I believe that's it for me. Unless
or something like that. Are you playing in the U.S. Open?
in action on Sunday, Monday, and Friday of next week. So
Sunday, Monday, and Friday.
Yes, I'll be competing in 3 events: the pro doubles, pro singles, and
something. I think it's Coach Russell, and I'm not sure how he came up with this, but he had a list of people that were going to be at the 5+.
Yeah, Declan and I are both 25, so we're going to play that one together and get a little warm up for the Friday.
Absolutely, very cool. For 3 days, 17 final. But the
over the net, and it worked out well today.
That's awesome, man. Team East with a W right there. That's good stuff, man. Enjoyed watching it. All right, now we got the opponent of Noah, which is Rick. If Rick will come over here for just a second with me. We're still live, guys. We're going to get Rick over here. Rick needed a breather, I think, because that was such an intense match. He just needed to sit down and get his composure there for a minute. Rick, listen, man, the interviews with you have always been pleasurable, man. Me and you are good. What a match. Man, I tell you, you could feel the electricity in the air there.
You know, Scotty, I think I have a rule change for next year. You only play the match for 5 minutes for singles. I like that theory. And the next rule change for next year is we're going to have a machine on the sideline called Back to the Future. And when on the sideline, you can sit in the Back to the Future and you feel young again. Do you know these?
I did not.
Are you Mr. McFly, or are you too young to know Back to the Future?
I love it. That is Rick Witsken. Show everybody your paddle, by the way. I think it's important to show that paddle. That's a beautiful paddle. It's got the American flag with the eagle. Has a lot of meaningful emotions behind that for you.
Yeah, so the eagle represents my deceased brother who died of brain cancer. We were on our last trip to Montana. There was a bald eagle that was following us around everywhere when we were going through the mountains and going hiking, and on our we went on whitewater rafting, and I'll be darned, there's an eagle that's following us everywhere. So that's him, and he was with me for the first 5 minutes. He said, "Do it yourself."
Man, that's awesome. He said, "Do it yourself." Good stuff, Rick, man. I appreciate you, man. You're always a great competitor.
That we do documenting our pickleball adventures.
We can't forget about our original music videos and pickleball song parodies.
Oh, absolutely.